This is going to be for the people that grew up without parents. Understand that you are worth it, and it's not your fault. You didn't ask to be brought into this world and be put into the life that you were. But it is what it is. And that's the harsh reality of it. You know, my parents were and might still be drug addicts. I haven't had communication with them in years. Being a kid without parents, you have to grow up very fast. And you probably will have to deal with a lot of mental problems that develop long term. You know, I didn't have to deal with anxiety attacks and panic attacks for the longest time in my life, up until about high school. That's when I started getting panic attacks and stuff, and I didn't understand what was happening, but I had to realize that those were the effects of the trauma and childhood that I had. And I don't really remember a lot of my childhood and a lot of the stuff that happened when I was around my parents and stuff. And I've been told that that's just my brain hiding trauma. I don't know if that's, I believe it, because I know there are stuff that's happened in my life, but one thing that I never realized is that growing up in this way, there's a lot of hidden trauma that I deal with, and that's what I want to be aware to people, is that you being in this certain position, you're gonna have a lot of trauma to deal with, and it's going to hurt your relationships. It's going to make it tough. It's going to hurt your friendships. It might hurt your work life. It might hurt school. It might hurt you physically and mentally. It's there's a lot of different variables in it. But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing to know when you're going through shit like this is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You can make it. You can do it. And you probably won't even see the light or realize that there even is a tunnel, that you're in a tunnel. You may not even realize it, but just know that if you trust in the process, you go those nights without food, you go those nights without sleep because you working or you don't got the money. Just know that sacrifice will add up. Those little sacrifices you're making add up. And you will succeed in the end. You will conquer whatever you want to do in your life. You just got to put your brain to it. You got to really want it. And to be in a situation like this, I'm sure that the majority of you are hungry. You guys want success. You want something for your life. You want to do something with your life. You don't want to be like your parents. You don't want to end up like that. You don't want to be what everybody is telling you you're going to be. You want to be more. You want to prove people wrong. That's where I get my motivation. I want to prove people wrong. I know everybody that looks at me thinks that I'm going to end up just like my parents. You know what I say to that? I say, fuck that. Screw that bullshit. That is horseshit. You only become your parents if you let yourself become your parents. And I'm not going to. And that's something that you got to tell yourself every day in the mirror. I don't care whether you feel like it's doing something or not. Tell yourself you are not your parents. You are not a reflection of your parents' actions. You are your own individual and you are your own person. That's something that I was never told and that I had to figure out on my own. Just know that this may not mean much, but I understand what you're going through. I understand your pain. It might get harder, but always know that the harder it gets, the better it's going to be when it's all over. The further you fall, the bigger of a comeback you're going to have. Prove those people wrong. Shit, prove yourself wrong. Fuck trying to impress other people. Impress yourself if that's what you want to do. Show yourself that you're better. That you're more than what you think you are. There's two ways to look at this. You can either consider yourself a lost soul or a free soul. Choose wisely.